Tonight, we are gathering in a moment of significant systemic crisis, a Kairos moment, when the tectonic plates of our society are shifting beneath our feet and new awakenings are struggling to be born. The litany of compounding crises are already far too familiar to most of us by now. There is, of course, the climate crisis, which is intensifying storms like Hurricane Helene and Milton. War and mass violence permeate the planet, often fueled and funded by our own government, while back at home, police violence, mass incarceration, and draconian immigration enforcement bring the military state into our daily lives. Meanwhile, authoritarian leaders are seizing power around the world. In just a few weeks, we will have a better sense of just how much power Christian nationalists will wield within the White House and Congress. And one through line of these crises is a shameful and worsening reality. We are living in the most economically unequal time in modern history. Indeed, at a time when the wealth of the three richest Americans now exceeds $500 billion, there are 140 million poor and low-income people in this country. During the early years of the COVID-19 pandemic, this economic inequality accelerated at an unprecedented pace, even as the virus spread along the fissures of our society. Before the pandemic, millions of people suffered under the oppressive weight of rising costs, low wages, bad to no health insurance, and more. In the absence of a united, robust, and sustained government response, these pre-existing conditions contributed to the over 1 million pandemic-related deaths in this country, the highest mortality rate in the world. In a forthcoming report from the Kairos Center, Surviving Pending Revolution, Lessons from the Pandemic for Building a Movement to End Poverty, my colleagues Shali Gupta-Barnes and Jarvis Benson write that, quote, where our national systems could not or would not deliver, local communities stepped in through mutual aid, community organizing, religious ministries, and other forms of care. And that, quote, these efforts saved an untold number of lives. They also offered a glimpse into how our society might be organized to realize substantive democracy, where we all have a meaningful say over the decisions that impact our lives. In their report, my colleagues synthesized some of the survival strategies that poor and dispossessed communities deployed during the most intense periods of the pandemic, and they offer recommendations for how these strategies can continue to inform our movement building. In the coming months, Kairos will be leading a number of strategic conversations and trainings on the insights and lessons that they gathered in this report.